Hey everyone, it's Kieran and I am back with another video. Yes, I'm on a roll. I've pushed out a few videos this week. So my customer here hadn't had a haircut in maybe 6 weeks. Like maybe just after Christmas he got a haircut. So we're going to do it's a weird one because it's a low fade. But it's a low skin fade. But the fade itself is actually high. What we want to do is we don't want necessarily anything past the occipital bone to be skin. So we're coming up with a 1.5 and I'm just putting in my guideline to start. So what I like to do is I like to get that 1.5 all the way in and around. And as we get to the end, as you can see with my 1.5, I'm coming up and I'm just flicking out, coming up, flicking out. That's what I like to do with all my guards. Basically, unless I'm scratching to try and scratch out a fade. But I'll come up and flick out. And what that does is it gives me a little bit of room, a little bit of leeway, just so I can make sure that when I'm going on to my next guard or if I'm doing any clipper over comb work, that it becomes easier. It's not just so straight and dense into the head. That flicking out helps start that fade. So finishing off with this 1.5 just all the way around the head, I like to really just put in my guideline first before I start my fade. So I'll put this 1.5 in all the way in and around, again flicking up to making sure that starts that fade off. By the way, if you are new to this channel, make sure to drop me a like, drop me a comment down below. Hit the hype button, because that's a new thing that I didn't know about until like last week. So hit that hype button and definitely hit that subscribe button. So then coming in with my trimmers, just to make sure that we've got this skin line, I take it, as you say, maybe about an inch below the line that I just put in. And as I get around to the back of the head, I make sure I go just an inch under the occipital bone, and that then gives me enough room to blend everything in. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to give myself no room. That's an issue that I've had ever since I started kind of cutting hair. Was I get excited when someone says a skin fade. I used to put in the line really high and then stress, and it would take me ages to get the line out because I had no stretching room, and it was just as simple as that, really. That's why I like to put my line, like give myself, and if you're learning to cut hair and you're watching this video and you're learning to cut hair, give yourself room, give yourself time, especially when starting out. I've been cutting hair 20 years now, so I know exactly how long it pretty much takes me to do a haircut and how much it takes me to do a personal customer per se. If it takes me 20 minutes or it takes me an hour, depending on their hair type. But if you are a new barber and you're watching this video and you're learning to cut hair, take your time with it. Honestly, Rome wasn't built in a day, and if it takes you 3 hours to do a haircut, fine, it takes you 3 hours to do a haircut. You'd rather take 3 hours and go, actually, that looks really good, than do a 45-minute slop job and go, oh, that customer's probably never coming back. So just putting in the foils here, just going like a millimetre, a couple of millimetres just under the line I created with the trimmers. So then I'm flicking just to, as you say, give myself room to then blend in that foils to trimmer. Because what I'll do is I'll end up at the end of this just rubbing it out with the trimmer just to make sure that the foil line is out so it's not such a harsh line. But as I was coming up with the foils anyway, I was flicking and I was getting that line out. So a number 1 open first. So I did a 1.5 and now I'm doing a 1 open. That's just a bit smaller than the 1.5. And then clipper over comb to take off this debulk. My client has a lot of he has a cow's lick in the side of his hair, which he's been my customer for around 10 years now. So I've kind of got used to it now. I know that his hair is really, really pokey at the sides. If you try and let's say we did a taper, it would not sit. It would push outwards instead of downwards. So we have to constantly have essentially a semi-high fade to it. That's why we try not to we do the skin fade low, because we want to see that shadow in and that edging around the kind of top of the line coming down towards the occipital bone, just to give a bit of shading. And it's not so like a military haircut. That's what we don't want, really. Not on this anyway. Military haircuts are pretty cool, but it's just one of the things that my client has requested, that he didn't want it too high at the back or just too high at the side. So that's why we're doing a much more of a lower fade. So coming in, that was my half guard, open and closed, and then going in with my clippers, now open, just scratching away at the surface and then flicking slightly up. And going in with my comb, and that's a 0 there. Just getting rid of them edges, really just making sure that the haircut, as you can see when I'm putting in my comb, I'm pulling out at like a 90-degree angle, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to go into the hair, but I want that hair to blend upwards, so you can still see that shadowing, you can still see that detail, and the hair is blended. I'm just doing one side of the face essentially right now, so I'm just lining up the beard, almost prepping it. So I'm prepping my food to cook in a minute. That's what I'm doing. So then we do exactly the same on this side. Sorry, this side, it's not even the side, it's the back. So we do exactly the same on the back, where we're just rubbing away, flicking up as we go along, and that is my number 1 closed, and then I'll go down to just my clipper open, just so I can see a harsh line in there. And what I wanted to do really is I really wanted to just get that harsh line out of there. So I'm just rubbing away, and then I can go in afterwards with my half guard, and then a half guard just up and flicking out. As you can see, every time I'm coming in, I'm flicking up and out. If you're a new barber, please get used to that motion. Get used to the motion of coming in and flicking out. I've been doing it for 20 years now. It's like driving. It kind of comes natural to me, where I come up and I just flick out. I know where to do it and when to do it, and you will get used to it, especially as a new barber. You will get used to that up and out motion, kind of with your fingers and your thumb. Your thumb pulls back and your 2 fingers push forwards, and so on and so forth. Just doing a rotational move to help flick out. Again, coming up at a 90-degree angle. We don't want to go into the hairline, so you can see my comb's coming up, and then I'm pulling out of the comb slightly, just so we can make sure that this hair is blended nicely, but not going into the hairline, because I still want to keep that bulk at the back. I want to have shadowing. I want to make sure it sits heavier at the back. So we're just coming in, up at a 90-degree angle. And again, on this side, we repeat exactly the same process. Just coming in with my number 1, just flicking up and out. Half guard, coming in and flicking. You can see that flick, coming in, flick, and that is what creates that blend. That flick motion there creates a blend, and that's what you want. And that's how you go from kind of becoming a beginner barber to a better barber, is learning that flick technique. And then just with my half guard, just going in and around, and just, as I say, just on the edges, just flicking. Sometimes you'll see that I'm using just the corner of the blade, because I just want to use it almost like a pencil. I just want to kind of shade away a little bit and just make sure that that's blended in properly. And as you can see, just with my clipper comb coming in. I got this clipper comb actually from Temu. I got about 10 of them. I love it. It's brilliant. Do you know why? Because it's quite a strong comb, but it's the teeth are quite fine, and you can get in there, you can get really deep, and so you can blend in a haircut a lot easier. Yeah, look on Temu for just like clipper combs and you'll find it. For me, brilliant clipper comb. Absolutely love it. My clippers are also, I think my clippers, these are Chemi clippers. I love them. I absolutely love them. I think I paid maybe 30 quid for them, and I absolutely love them. They're my Chemi trimmers, which, by the way, I've maybe had now for about a year and a half, and they're still brilliant. They're still sharp. They still cut. I might actually change the blade on them soon, but they still cut perfect. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think these trimmers genuinely cost me like 9 quid. 9 quid from, I even think I got them from TikTok shop, but I just love them. I thought they were brilliant. Now on to the scissor work. So the blending is, I'd say 99% finished. I think I go over some certain bits, but onto the scissor work now. So just making sure the hair is saturated again, because me personally, on certain hair, I don't like dry cutting. So my customer wanted about 1/2 inch to 1 inch off. So I'll straight cut it first. Because it's so long, usually if my client comes in every couple of weeks, I'll do chip in, cut, chip in, cut. But because this has been 6 weeks, what I want to do is I want to give this a complete fresh cut, a complete fresh canvas. And that's the best thing to do, is to just straight cut the hair first, so there's no messing around, and then you've got a perfect canvas to chip into. So as you can see, I'm just picking up the hair, cutting, taking my neck section, picking that up, cutting, and I go all the way from that to the crown, just straight cutting before I go into it and chip into it afterwards. Guys, again, we're at the 10-minute mark. I haven't done a 10-minute video for so long. It's been a long time. I've proper missed YouTube. And I'm back. I really missed making video, but life, as everybody knows, life gets really busy. I've got my wife, 3 kids, my dogs, and a lot of after school clubs that now happen. So my kids do jiu-jitsu, I do jiu-jitsu. And yeah, so finding it, I'm just remembering how to film again, and really actually enjoying doing a bit of YouTube. It's been so fun just getting the camera and going to a customer, can I film this haircut? And it's just, I feel like I'm 10 years younger. Like, it's so exciting just filming again. Anyway, I got lost in translation. Let me crack on with this. Chipping in. So now we've straight cut it. This is when we can start chipping in, and this is what gives a texture to my client's hair. Is quite fine, so I want to make sure the more I chip into it, the more when I'm styling it afterwards, or even when he's styling it at home, you want to give your customer kind of the best advice and the best chance of making their haircut look good when they finish. Because what you don't want to do is, you don't want to do an amazing haircut and then the client walk out and go, well, I washed it, I did it at home, and I didn't know how to do it. Just make sure when you're styling your client's hair, especially if it's the first time you're doing their hair, just go over how you're styling it, what you're doing, show them the products, let them take pictures of the products, or give them alternative cheaper options. That's what I always like to do. That I feel like that is, some clients can't afford to buy the £10-15 products that we sell. So I always like to offer an alternative, like this one is in Boots, or this one is in Tesco's, or wherever you're from, Kmart, Walmart, so you can go buy this product instead. Onto the beard. I love my client's beard here. It's just he's got a great beard. I told him if he used a little bit of Just for Men in them corners, just at the bottom of his cheeks, because he's got loads of hair there, it's just very, very light. I was like, if you use just a little bit of like dark brown, that beard would be full, especially on his like mustache and stuff like that. He's got a beard where it's dark in certain areas, it's dark on the sides, and it's very light kind of coming towards the middle and around the edges. So we're just blending in the beard to the hair. We're kind of doing a reverse taper. You can see where I'm grabbing his head, I'm just stretching that skin, because when you stretch the skin, it gives you just a wider stretch of canvas to work on. And then always drop it, like drop your finger and let it see how it sits. Shaving gel. I don't know if guys you use shaving gel, but I definitely recommend getting some. What this does is it gives lubrication to the face, and when you're going around with your cutthroat, it just makes it so much easier. So this is my cutthroat, which is weirdly enough, it's a Bluebeard's Revenge cutthroat. Doesn't say it on it anymore, because I've nearly had it for, I don't know, maybe 20 years. Bluebeards, if you're listening, I would love a new razor, please. I might actually just buy one, but yeah, I don't even know if they sell them anymore. Yeah, but this is a Bluebeard's Revenge razor. I had 2 of them, lost one at a hair show in Italy, and yeah, now I'm left with one, and it's my pride and joy, and I don't let it leave my section. Do you know when you have a tool that you just fall in love with? Mine is, I've got a really nice comb that I love to use, and my cutthroat. Anything else I think is kind of replaceable, but them 2 things I don't let out of the shop. they're in my drawer and they stay there. So onto the same, we're doing exactly the same, coming down with a 0.5 or 1.5, sorry. Coming down the beard with 1.5, just taking off the edges really. I want to take off kind of the bits that just look like it's making his cheeks bigger. We want that to sit nice and flat on them cheeks. And then stretching the skin and just going in and kind of reverse tapering that beard in, making it look nice and sharp, and so it just blends into the hairline. Again, a little bit of shaving gel, and because that lubes up the face, lovely. Didn't think I'd ever use that in a sentence. And just softly going over with my cutthroat, stretching that skin. You can see what I'm doing with my thumb. Just stretching the skin and making sure it lines up really nice. Always after you've done this, just kind of stand back, look at the face and see if it is straight, because sometimes it might not be. So you're always good to just double check the face, double check to see, making sure that you've got the beard nice and straight, and then you can just go over little bits. To get shaving gel off, I always use a tiniest bit of talcum powder onto the beard at the bottom now. So as you can see, this hasn't been done in a while. He has a lot of neck hair that I'm just removing. So we're coming down at a very slight angle, because what I want to do is I don't want that to be kind of a straight beard at the bottom. I want it to have like a jawline finish. So that's why I do the beard kind of just off to an angle ever so slightly from both sides, pointing it down into the middle where the chin sits. And then when he sits forwards, you notice the beard comes up with his chin line, and it just looks a lot smarter, a lot sharper. Different ways of doing people. Everybody likes their beard in kind of different ways. My client here, this is how he likes his beard to kind of sit more of a jawline beard, where it makes his jawline stand out instead of it being more of a flatter beard, where the flatter beard's good if you want it to look kind of really thick and strong. But no, we wanted to go with more of a jawline kind of feature here. So just, yeah, shaved it all round and then foiled it. Make sure you go in all different directions of the neck with your foil shaver, because it does tend to leave neck hairs all the time. Just trim down the moustache, give it a little mushy, a little trim. Just there, just off the lip. And then just going around with my scissors, just making sure we got all them little hairs off. The technique here is to tell your customer just not to breathe and just hope for the best. Onto the styling, just to finish up. Wet the hair down, saturate the hair. Mousse, love mousse. You watch my other videos. Has anyone started using mousse yet? Because I love mousse and I use it in pretty much all my customers at the minute. It's just in. It works really well. And I know people went through like this mad sea salt phase where people were using sea salt spray. Yes, I still use sea salt spray, but I would, me personally, just saying, putting out there, I prefer to use mousse. I think it gives a stronger hold, a drier texture. If you're having tapers or curly hair or anything like that, I just find that it just gives such a good finish as a pre-product. Underdog's beard cream. I actually received this as a present from a client, and I fell in love with it. It's such a nice product. So yeah, a guy called Keith, who travels in from London, who gets his hair cut with me. Lovely, lovely man. He gave me that as a present, and yeah, it was lovely and it was nice, and so we use it on customers. I'm actually going to get a tin for home because I like it so much, but I don't really have a beard anymore. I have more of an Australian moustache. Or do you call it an Australian beard or an Australian moustache? Because that's pretty much what I got at the minute. VO5 thickening powder, just a dry powder for this kind of hair, because his hair's fairly short and we want to give it as much texture as possible. So as you can see, I'm being Salt Bay right now, just running that through the top, running that through a little bit of everywhere, and then just using my fingers to displace the hair and make it a bit crazy, and just, yeah, give it some actual texture and textured finish. They've got to be glued. Yeah, it's just a really good hairspray. It is the best hairspray, especially if you've got something to hold. If you're going on a night out or anything like that, they've got to be the yellow tin is the best hairspray. Even call it a hairspray, it's called a free spray. So this is the finished look, guys. Comment that before and after was crazy. This is a good haircut. Comment down below, let me know what you want to see next. I hope you enjoy this video. Do not forget to like, comment, and please hit that subscribe button, because I have now been talking for 20 minutes. I need a drink. I'll see you next one.